feel like I've just stepped into the opening scene of the most perfect and autumnal fall movie. I think it's safe to say fall has officially arrived in Utah and I am thriving. I'm filling my days with knit sweaters, pumpkin spice everything, cemetery strolls. I've been sitting under this tree and leaves are occasionally floating down. It's cloudy and there is actually a crispness to the air. Today, I've gathered recommendations for everything we need to step into that fall state of mind. Movies and shows to curl up with, books to get lost in on a stormy night, whimsical ways to romanticize fall days, and the perfect songs and playlists to set the mood. I didn't include recipes this year because we did just kind of discuss a few in my preparing for fall video, and there are a ton in that comment section. So if you're looking for more recipes, I would check out that video or any of my previous fall starter packs. Essentially everything you need to feel like fall has arrived. Fall is a state of mind. You might want to grab a pen and some paper and consider this your official autumn starter pack. Let's begin.
But before we get started, I want to share with you a bit about the sponsor for this portion of the video, ZocDoc.
This actually came at the perfect time for me this fall. As many of you know, this is our first fall back in Utah. The whole past 6 months have been so chaotic, but in the best way possible. Between getting fully moved back in and then rescuing kittens off of death's doorstep and stocking up on possibly too many fall-scented candles. Guilty. I realized we still haven't found a local doctor yet, which if you know me, I actually love getting labs done. It feels like getting a report card for how my body's doing. Normally I'd put this off because I wouldn't be sure if it was worth it to make a doctor's appointment or just because I didn't have a doctor lined up. But then ZocDoc came along and I was like, oh, this makes it stupidly easy. ZocDoc is a free website where you can search and compare high-quality in-network doctors. You just search for whatever you need. Mental health, dental, eye care, skincare, you name it. And it pulls up in-network doctors near you. We're talking over 100,000 providers. You can filter by ones who take your insurance, who are close by, and who have great reviews by actual patients. Then you can instantly book right there. No awkward phone calls, no press 2 and be on hold forever. You can even find same-day appointments, which feels like cheating the system in the best way possible. When I got really sick 3 years ago, I was able to find a doctor that listened to me and was able to sign off on any tests that I wanted to get done. She made me feel heard. She made me feel like I wasn't crazy with my symptoms. She really advocated for me. Finding a doctor you trust can be so important, and I really love how ZocDoc makes that so easy and so accessible. Plus, ZocDoc helps you get appointments fast, typically within 24 to 72 hours after booking. ZocDoc lets you do everything online so you can quickly make that appointment. So if you've been meaning to check something off your health to-do list before diving headfirst into cozy season, just go to ZocDoc.com/darlingdesi. I'll put it down in the description as well, and book your appointment today. It's free, it's easy, and it's one less thing looming over your head while you try to enjoy all of the fun this fall. First things first, I have a list for you. I think of this as an enchanted list. I wanted to think of not just things to do, but specifically whimsical things to do. And just a reminder, whimsical is a state of mind. It's not just things you can do. You really have to decide that you are going to be whimsical. First on the list is making recipe potion bottles. Instead of a normal recipe box, you can copy some of your favorite fall drink recipes, write them onto aged paper or cards, and then roll them up, put them in little glass bottles with corks on the top, and then store them in a basket somewhere in your kitchen. And imagine it kind of as like a witch's pantry of autumn potions. Oh my goodness, I didn't even put any perfume on today. Next on the list is a haunted library crawl. How I imagine this is you go to your local library or multiple ones nearby, but make it a crawl. So each library you stop at, you pick out one Gothic book or one cozy book, take a photo with it outside the library, maybe read the first sentence or first paragraph, continue doing this until you have a little book haul, and then end the night with a cozy cafe stop. I'm personally so excited to do this one. And then I saw this on TikTok calling gloomy days Twilight Weather. I love that. Always a positive and negative way that we can approach something, and choosing to look at those gloomy overcast days as Twilight Weather, I know for me would make me appreciate it more. Next is a candlelit porch supper. You could do this solo or invite some friends over. That morning you can go to the farmer's market and get soup supplies, make a fresh soup, maybe even bring it outside on the porch in a thermos, have some fresh sourdough bread or some spiced drinks, and then eat outside outside, tucked under cozy blankets, surrounded by lanterns or pumpkins, kind of like autumn midnight feast. You could choose to do it at midnight. I think that would be really, really fun, but even just a regular dinner outside. You know how we talk about core memories for kids? I absolutely believe that we can have so many core memories as adults, and we should be creating them for ourselves whenever we can. Next is an autumn story swap. And for this, I was inspired by Mary Shelley when she wrote Frankenstein as a little competition between her and her friends. So you can gather with friends, siblings, family, and you each bring a short story, light some candles, pass around cider, and take turns reading aloud, surrounded by candlelight or lamplight, kind of like a mini salon. Bonus points if you dress vintage or dark academia inspired. This next one won't be for everyone, but it is for me, and I love it. And that is to adopt a pumpkin and name it. So instead of carving it or baking it, go to a pumpkin patch, pick a pumpkin with intention. You want to choose a good one, and then give it a name and write its little backstory. That could just be a paragraph, or you could even write a full-on story about this pumpkin. And then keep it on your porch or your bookshelf because it's now a character in your fall story. Bonus points if you dress it up in like a little hat or scarf. Anthropology has these cute little pumpkin pins, like jewelry for the pumpkin. There's so many things you could do. I will be doing that. Don't laugh at me. I think it's such a cute idea. Next on the list is to write a Halloween manifesto. I would do this on the first day of October. If you want to be a bit extra about it, you could find some aged paper, or it could just be in your journal, and write your declaration of how you will celebrate the season. It could be like, I solemnly swear to eat apple cider donuts at least once a week and read Gothic novels by candlelight every evening. You could just write a to-do list every day during fall or a bucket list, but I think this is such a fun and whimsical way to do that in a way that doesn't just feel like checking off a box. You know, this next one I love, and that is to acquire a leaf pocket collection. So on your daily walks, choose one leaf that feels extra special. You look at it and you're just like, wow, that is a perfect leaf. Tuck it into your pocket, bring it home, and then line them up on your windowsill as you collect them till you have a tiny personal leaf museum. And if you want to, you could also write the date on the back of each leaf when you found it. It's another way of keeping a journal. And then this is something you could do every day, once a week, once during October, and that is have a candlelight reading hour. Turn off all the lights one evening, light just one, maybe two candles, and read a Gothic or cozy classic out loud to yourself. Yes, out loud, because I feel like your voice plus the flickering candlelight is instant atmosphere. If you have pets, you could read to them, or kids. I will definitely be doing this. Next, I don't really have a term or like a word for this one, but use cookie cutters to make everything magical. Use Halloween cookie cutters for everything. Toast, cookies, pancakes, sandwiches. It's such low effort, but suddenly your meal turns into this little autumn fairy tale breakfast. Next is a Nancy Drew or true crime mystery walk. Listen to a Nancy Drew audiobook or your favorite true crime podcast and take a walk. Take a stroll during golden hour. As you listen, you can kind of imagine or pretend that you're sleuthing for clues under crunchy leaves, seeing if there's anything suspicious going on in your neighborhood. Of course, there's probably not, but stepping into that kind of character of sleuthing and solving a mystery while you go on a walk as it's transitioning from golden hour to blue hour, I feel like that's such a vibe. I love it. This next one was recommended to me by an Instagram follower, and that is the catch a falling leaf game. How it works is pretty much how it sounds. You head outside on a breezy fall day and try to catch a leaf as it's falling down from a tree. I feel like this may sound easy until you're spinning around laughing as leaves are swirling around you and you can't catch any of them. The legend says if you do catch one, you will be granted good luck for the rest of the season. And lastly, this is something that might be a bit more difficult to do for most people, but if you do have the option, I think this would be so incredibly atmospheric, and that is to take a haunted train ride with a Gothic novel. Find a train to ride in October. Bonus points if it's rumored to be haunted or weaves through misty mountains. Bring along a Gothic novel and channel your inner Catherine Morland. We do have a train here in Utah called the Heber Creeper, and I will definitely be doing this. I'll probably bring Northanger Abbey with me. Is there a bug up my dress? Probably. It's fine. Next, let's talk books. Fall is peak reading season, and books can be such a powerful way to transport you into fall, especially if you live somewhere that it doesn't feel very cool, crisp, autumnal outside. These books will take you there. And I know this portion can get quite long, so I'm gonna try to rapid fire these. We're gonna focus mainly on vibes. The first one being 13th Tale by Diane Setterfield. Imagine if Charlotte Bronte and Gillian Flynn teamed up to tell ghost stories in a crumbling English Gothic manner. If you read The Seven Husbands of Evelyn Hugo, this kind of follows that storyline in the sense that there's a famous writer who has been giving interviews for years, but everything she's ever told about her life, she's been handing out these stories like candy, but nobody knows her true story. Until one day, a young biographer gets a letter from this famous writer saying, I would like you to be the one to tell my real story. It is so Gothic, and the twists in this, I did not see them coming. This is so good. Next is The Undead Fox of Deadwood Forest by Aubrey Hartman. This feels like a love child between Beatrix Potter and Tim Burton in absolutely the best way possible. Set in a forest that is perpetually autumn, an introverted undead fox spends her quiet days guiding wandering spirits to the afterlife. Until one day, Ginger Snipes, a stubborn badger, shows up and refuses to leave. What starts as annoyance quickly spirals into a journey through prophecy, grief, and unlikely friendship, all wrapped up in a gorgeously Gothic but still incredibly cozy woodland setting. This one made me cry, by the way. It is more than you think it is. Oh, and I just have to note the audiobook for this is incredible. There are sound effects and the narrator breaks the fourth wall and talks to the listener. Highly, highly, highly recommend. Now, if you're a fan of Gothic horror, this book is for you. This is Blood on Her Tongue by Johanna van Veen. Think Carmilla gets stranded in a misty 1800s Dutch bog, trapped in a tale of twin madness, forbidden science. One twin is slipping into something monstrous, and the other twin will stop at no cost to save her. It blends classic vampire horror and literary drama in a way that feels like stepping into a classic black and white vampire film. This is a vampire story unlike any vampire story I've ever read. This is what made me pick up the book originally. It goes, my beloved reader, in your hands you hold a work of Gothic horror. As such, it naturally contains terror and rage and other emotional extremes, strange and frightening occurrences that may or may not be supernatural, and an atmosphere so thick that you can stick a knife in it. Though you can never be sure that that knife will be where you left it once you return from your nightly wanderings. That is, if you return. It's Gothic, so you never know. What I mean to say is that you can expect quite a lot of disquieting, dark, and dreadful things from this book by virtue of its genre. I do not wish to spoil the story for you, but I do wish to warn you so that you may prepare yourself accordingly before you wander into its darkness wearing only a flimsy nightgown and holding a dripping candle to light your way. And then she goes on to list some of the trigger warnings, which I definitely recommend checking out. And then she ends her author's note with, dark and creepy things lie ahead. Yes, but hopefully a delightfully spooky good time as well. And the book opens with our character on a train, which is one of my favorite settings. Have I said how Gothic this book is? It's incredible. Anyway, I'm trying to be brief. Moving on. This book I gave 5 stars. I read it just last week, and I can't stop thinking about it. This is like Buffy the Vampire Slayer meets Scream, and it is The Executioners 3 by Susan Dennard. I devoured this almost in one day. Along with Buffy and Scream, it has dashes of Supernatural and Scooby-Doo. You've got equal parts witty teen drama, extremely creepy woods, and a supernatural murder mystery, with a prank war going on between 2 rival high schools, and a very real centuries-old curse. If you're a 90s kid like me, this is set in the 90s. There are references to Backstreet Boys and NSYNC. Our main character gets her first cell phone and names it Sabrina after Sabrina the Teenage Witch. It's just so good.
Hey guys, future Desi here because the audio on that clip was so bad. My braid kept hitting the microphone. It was sufferable to listen to. So I'm going to tell you about my favorite book. If you take any of these recommendations, you want to read just one of them, this is my personal favorite. I don't usually do this, but I gave this book 6 stars. It broke the scale. I don't usually love contemporary romance, but oh my goodness, this did something no other contemporary romances have done for me. I need you to know that this is like if Harry Met Sally was set in Stars Hollow instead of New York City. And instead of Sally and Harry, we have Michelle and Cliff. Michelle runs an inn and Cliff is a baker. It has that magic of a 90s rom-com. Oh, I realized I haven't even said the name. This is If It Makes You Happy by Julie Olivia. I'm like Mr. Knightley. If I loved it less, I might be able to talk about it more. It's set in Vermont during the coziest stretch of the year. It features all of the burn months. There's fall festivals, trick-or-treating nights, dressing up for Halloween, Thanksgiving dinners. And at the heart of it is two people who become best friends, Michelle, who is running the inn, and Cliff, who is the baker next door, and this I think honestly made the book for me. I pictured Cliff as a 90s Brendan Fraser because I saw this edit on TikTok. I'll show it to you here. And this sealed the deal for me. Imagining this as like a Nora Ephron film in my head is really what added to my love for it. Not to mention, Cliff is a single dad. He has the two daughters at home. One is, I think she's 16, and I picture her as Kat from 10 Things I Hate About You. And then he has a younger daughter who I picture as Michelle from Full House. This doesn't lean on typical romance tropes. Instead, this feels like what we want when we say, oh, they don't make rom-coms like they used to back in the 90s. That's what this is. This is what we want. It's heartfelt, it's funny, it's atmospheric, and it gave me that rare, impossible feeling of wanting to pick this up immediately upon finishing it. I do recommend picking it up if any of that sounds good to you. I love it so much. Anyway, back to the video.
I do have a few runner-ups that I just want to mention briefly because I didn't want the book section to be too long. First one is Catabasis by R.F. Kuang. Feels like taking a philosophy class at Hogwarts. Very dark academia, heavy on the academia, but I'm having the best time. It follows two students as they journey into hell to retrieve their advisor who had passed away so that he can write their recommendation letters. So good. Then I have The Late Night Witches by Aurelie Wallace. This is a cozy vampire book set on Prince Edward Island. It doesn't take itself too seriously. It's so fun. It's like practical magic meets a vampire Disney Channel original movie. Very autumnal. So good. And lastly, I'm only a few chapters into this one, but this is Uncharmed by Lucy Jane Wood. Last year, I read Rewitched by Lucy, which was one of my favorite books of the year. That one was 5 stars for me, but I might like this one even better. If you are looking for something incredibly wholesome and cozy, Uncharmed is your book. Lucy's writing is just unmatched. She knows how to write autumn because she is a fellow autumn enthusiast. Let's move on to movies. I am going to hold this now that I'm not holding any books. Let's start with Fly Away Home. If you're a fan of Anne of Green Gables or you enjoyed the movie Free Willy, I think you would love this movie. It's a father-daughter story wrapped up in the most beautiful autumnal setting. It's about a girl who accidentally becomes a mom to all of these geese. But where they live, the geese have to migrate. But because she's like their mom and she can't lead them to migrate, she has to come up with a solution. The relationship between her and her dad is beautiful. The way they navigate grief and healing. Ultimately, this is such a heartwarming comfort film. I cannot recommend it enough. Next is one of my very personal favorites, and that is Mermaids. This feels like a slightly more, I don't want to say adult, but maybe real version of Gilmore Girls. It's a story about a mom and her 2 daughters. The mom is played by Cher. The daughters are played by Winona Ryder and Christina Ricci. The cast is incredible. We see that the mom, whenever she breaks up with a guy, she moves to a new state. And at this point in the story, we see her moving to Massachusetts during fall. There's Halloween. The fall foliage is gorgeous. And while she's there, we get to see her falling in love, as well as her 16-year-old daughter. I think she's 16. It's a coming of age story. It's hilarious. It has so many good one-liners, and it has become a comfort movie that I've been putting on again and again just because I love the vibes that it gives off. It has such a good soundtrack. Like, it's just perfect. Next is a classic. I don't know that I've ever seen another autumn film that looks just as beautiful to look at as this film does, and that is The Trouble with Harry. The movie starts by someone walking through the woods and stumbling over a dead body. And then someone else walks by and stumbles over the same dead body. No one wants to be accused of having killed this person. So some of the things they do to cover up this dead body or to figure out who might have done it, it's probably Hitchcock's funniest movie. Like, it's not funny, but it's more funny than his other films. A fun fact about this movie, they had to glue and paste leaves onto trees because so many of the leaves had fallen by the time they got there to film the movie. The work that must have gone into that is insane. It just feels like a painting. It's so good. This is another classic, but I watched it again recently and put it on this list because it was just perfect for the start of fall. I'm not a big sports person, but you don't have to be to enjoy this movie. It is Remember the Titans. It's set in the 60s, I believe. Desegregation was going on, so the schools were becoming integrated, black and white football players, and this is the first instance where a team was allowing black players on and also replacing their white coach with a black coach. This little town becomes kind of in an uproar about it. But it's such a beautiful story about putting differences aside and coming together. The overall feel of the movie is so hopeful and wholesome and heartwarming. Like, it really makes me want to go to a football game on an early Saturday morning. And like I said, I'm not a sports girl. This movie is for anyone. Next is a movie that I did not see for my first time until last year, and I'm going to include it on this list for those of you who are like me and hadn't seen it yet, because you kind of had a stereotype about how it was going to be and you thought you might not be interested in it. And that is Beetlejuice and Beetlejuice, the second one. I always assumed this movie was too dark humor, weird, that's not my type of Halloween vibe. I don't know, everything I've seen about it doesn't really call to me, but I finally watched it last year and oh my goodness, I was so wrong. This has become a movie I put on all the time, and there's a surprising amount of scenes that showcase beautiful Vermont during fall. And interestingly enough, Beetlejuice is only on screen for 17 minutes, and they honored that in the second movie as well. He's only on screen for 17 minutes. It's about a couple who moves into a house and they end up dying. They kind of pass to the other world and realize that they have become ghosts. They get this handbook for the undead, and while they're on their own journey of accepting that they're ghosts and what life is going to look like for them now, a family moves into their house. And they don't want to share their house with this family. So they essentially hire Beetlejuice to scare this family out of the house. But this family is used to the strange and unusual, and they are not getting scared. I don't want to give too much more away, but wow, I was blown away by this one. Definitely a movie I will continue to rewatch every year. And last for the films, I have Ghost, starring Patrick Swayze and Demi Moore. If you've seen this before, you might think oh, I never thought of this as a fall movie, but if you rewatch it, it is set during fall. I see them wearing blazers, sweaters. It technically is about a ghost, so I feel like it's a perfect romance to watch during fall. It's about a woman grieving and dealing with the death of her partner until one day she meets Whoopi Goldberg's character, who is a medium and she can communicate with ghosts on the other side. I forget her character's name, so I'm just going to say Demi Moore. Demi Moore doesn't believe her until she starts to prove to her over and over again that she actually can communicate. Her husband is trying to communicate to her that she is in danger and what she needs to do to get herself safe. Everything about this movie is just phenomenal. If you have not seen it and you want to watch something romantic that you're going to watch and feel changed afterwards and really stick with you, I highly recommend Ghost. Now let's chat about TV shows. Surprisingly, I found so many new fall shows that I love. The first one being Sherlock and Daughter. This one feels like if you liked Benedict Cumberbatch's Sherlock TV show, it's like that meets Enola Holmes. And this is revealed in the first episode, so I don't think it's too much of a spoiler, but it's about a younger girl who journeys all the way over to London to find Sherlock Holmes and tell him, "You are my father. And also, my mom was murdered and I need to learn your methods so that I can figure out who her killer was. Please teach me. Let me be your assistant." And the story goes from there. I have been loving this. I make a warm cup of tea and then I sit down every evening and watch an episode, and it has been my favorite cozy ritual. Obsessed. Next is one that you guys have been recommending to me year after year, and that is The Good Witch. I finally started watching this, and I have to say I feel like it's a no plot, just vibes TV show, but I've been finding myself really enjoying it. It is by Hallmark, so it's incredibly wholesome. It's about a peculiar woman who moves in, and a man and his son, they get to know her. I feel like if I try to describe the plot, it's going to sound maybe a bit boring, but it is like, for me, one of those shows that I'll just put on in the background while I am doing work on my laptop or making dinner, because it really just provides a cozy ambiance. It is very autumnal, so if you are looking for a show that is anxiety safe, meaning it's not going to trigger you at all, it's not going to be stressful, it's just going to be nice, wholesome, and cozy, I highly recommend The Good Witch. Another show that is so perfect for fall is Pretty Little Liars. The original seasons, like the first season, the second season, third season, are so good. It's about a group of girls at high school who start getting text messages from A, who knows something about them and is blackmailing them, and they have to do everything within their power to try and figure out who A is. It's filmed on the same lot where they filmed Gilmore Girls, and having watched this when it first came out, it's very nostalgic for me. So if you want nostalgia, but a bit of like murder mystery, blackmail, teen drama vibes, definitely check out Pretty Little Liars. And then this next one is one that I just recently started watching. I feel like it's a great show to transition from summer to fall, and that is Dawson's Creek. The first season takes place right as summer is ending and the characters are going back to school. It's set in North Carolina, and the filming style, it just feels so nostalgic and cozy. It is ultimately a romance. It's very bingeable. I watch multiple episodes. I'm really, really enjoying it. And you guys requested it, so this year I'm going to include a music section because music really can set the mood and the tone for fall. So here are some of my song and playlist recommendations. First, this has to be first because it is my personal favorite, the entire soundtrack for The Odd Life of Timothy Green, which if you haven't watched that movie for fall, it's incredible. It's one of my favorite movies of all time. You know, in The Holiday, when Miles tells Iris, I'm using all the good notes for this song, I feel like that's how the entire Odd Life of Timothy Green soundtrack is. It uses only the good notes. Oh, I love it so much. And next is Golden Brown by the Stranglers. This to me feels like the perfect October song. I wish I could include clips of the songs in this video, but I don't want to run into any copyright issues. But yeah, I love this one for October. And then Teddy Bear Picnic by Henry Hall. This is a very October coded song. If you've watched my Perfect Spooky Day video, I have that song playing when I first leave my house to go get donuts and look at the decorations. It's vintage, it's quirky. It sounds like how late October feels. And then I love Fallen to You by Maisie Starr. This kind of feels like to me if the Twilight soundtrack met the You've Got Mail soundtrack. It's moody, but it's also romantic. And then of course the entire Red album by Taylor Swift. Every single one of those songs is fall to me because it came out during fall, and so I listened to it on repeat, and now it is my fall like anthem in an album. There's nothing like going on a drive on a breezy fall day and the leaves are falling down, you're listening to All Too Well 10-minute version. That experience alone is like peak fall for me. And then I love White Winter Hymnal. I forget who this is by. Despite it having the word winter in the title, I feel like it encapsulates how fall feels. It has a very nice folksy upbeat sound. Just don't listen too closely to the lyrics. They're a little bit sad, but I love the way that it feels. And then Cemetery Gates and A Light That Never Goes Out by the Smiths. I have been loving the Smiths this fall.
I love the Smiths.
Sorry?
I said I love the Smiths. You've good taste in music.
You like the Smiths?
Yeah.
I don't know why I didn't listen to them sooner. I mean, I have listened to them, but they have been a staple for me this fall, specifically those two songs. I love to listen to them when I go book shopping specifically. And then a fall staple for me is the Cranberries. I listen to them whenever I want that New York City fall vibe. I specifically love, love, love Dreams, Linger, and Just My Imagination. Now, if the Cranberries are You've Got Mail New York City fall coded, Fleetwood Mac is Practical Magic witchy coded. In my opinion, I really love The Bridge and Silver Springs, and then Rhiannon and Gypsy. These are songs I dance around to while I'm baking or feeding the cats in the morning. I love their sound so much. And then just to throw in a couple playlists, I do have one called Cozy Crisp Autumn Days, and I will include it down below. It has a lot of these songs on it. And then I also have to mention one called Hot Apple Cider by Bliss Lundgren. It's 14 hours of just the most incredible fall music. So that one's perfect. I'll link both of those down below. Those are all of my recommendations. I hope that some of those can help get you in the mood for fall, really bring the fall spirit to you. Take time to make memories, even if it's something as little as making a warm cup of spiced tea and drinking it on your porch while you look up at the stars. So here's to being intentional this fall and doing the things that will make our hearts happy. it is getting more cloudy. It's so beautiful here. I'm gonna do a bit of reading and hope that no cougars come down this mountain, and I will see you very soon in my next video. Bye friends!